Hi everyone, my name's Joanna and this is Teen Book Tuesday. So I know when you normally see me on this channel, I'm talking about a fiction book, but I've made an exception this week for very, very, very dreadful, The Influenza Pandemic of 1918 by Albert Marin. And just like the title says, this is a history of the 1918 flu influenza pandemic, also sometimes referred to as the Spanish flu, although, spoiler alert, did not originate in Spain. So if you've heard of the 1918 flu pandemic before, it might have been from a book or movie. So for example, the TV series Downton Abbey had an arc that was all about the Spanish flu. But information about this particular flu pandemic should be way more widespread than it is because, to quote the book jacket, the 1918 flu was by far the worst epidemic that has ever affected humankind. And it actually, in about 18 months, killed between 50 and 100 million people. And if we want to make comparisons, that is more than the number of Europeans that was killed by the bubonic plague or Black Death in the Middle Ages by like double. Anyway, very, very, very dreadful is very, very cool. It starts out with a history of human disease from prehistoric times and then gives you a kind of a primer on what the flu virus is and how it developed. And the way it handles the actual history of the 1918 pandemic is a mix of military history and medical history because, you guessed it, World War I had a big impact on how fast this disease was able to spread. And then, in probably what is the most terrifying chapter, the author also devotes a good chunk of time to talking about future pandemics, flu pandemics, and how toast the human race will be when that happens. So I listened to the audiobook on our app called Libby, and it was really good, so I do suggest it. But I would also suggest getting our physical copy. We have a couple of these in our system. Even if you do listen to the audiobook, just so you can also see all the pictures and illustrations that are included, because there's a lot of historic photographs. Overall, I totally suggest this one for history nerds, for future medical professionals, and for people who need an extra kick in the pants to get their flu shot this season. That's all for this week. I'll see you guys later. Bye.